Hello guys, welcome back to our Twitch or streaming session. Hopefully you can hear me clear. Hi, hi Türkiye'm AK Parti. Welcome. So I think as usual, if something happens, if you have any problems to see, okay, you can hear me. That's great. Thank you, Climax. Just drop me a line. Today's topic, well, actually, we have different topics today. First of all, of course, we are going to talk about the current market situation. Um, I just published my actually new designed market analysis that was a little bit a test, cause yeah, I'm not really, I don't feel really comfortable with Twitter um, concerning the possibilities just to treat such really deep reviews, market reviews. It's going to be a challenge. So I thought for me it's also easier because I can use this stuff and the content for different sources. And I will make more tries to see if everything works. Okay, my dog. If everything is going to work fine, I will make some different files just to prove the content quality, the screenshots, and so on and so forth. Because that's, I would say, mostly the most important thing for you guys, just to see what is the price range, okay, what is Inspo talking about. But let us go directly to the stream. Um, today I have prepared something. I didn't have that a lot of time actually again to spend my time and to prepare a lot of things, unfortunately. But that's a thing where I'm starting to spend more time and more time to not only for me, because I like uh, well, projects and things that are not only have a good content but are looking good as well. And that's what I'm missing right now. So I'm trying to spend some time with that. I will spend even more time with that. I will start to spend some time in analyzing strong projects. That's going to be also one of our topics today when we are talking about crypto. And crypto is, for me, just a big sandbox for childs, for adults, where they can play a little bit with their money. Okay? And I'm convinced that will change in the next years. And for me, it's one of my to-dos is to identify the strong projects that will have a long-term or can guarantee me a long-term success. Even if I'm not doing 1000% in a year, but if I'm going to make 10,000% in 10 years, that's enough for me, and hopefully that's enough for you as well. So that's another thing where what I have on my to-do list. I have a lot of different things on my to-do list. Unfortunately, as you too, I just have 24 hours per day, and I have a full-time job at the same moment. Sometimes I'm making, yeah, multitasking all the time, and that's going to to burn my brain actually sometimes. But I'm fine with that at the moment. So let us talk a little bit about Bitcoin and what's happening with Bitcoin. You see, I just prepared a little bit something actually where I don't know if you guys, all of you, are following me on Twitter. That's not necessary, but as I'm tweeting my market analysis on Twitter, of course, it would be fine if you could have access to my Twitter account as well, and just to check what I'm providing related to the information. My expectations right now is what I mentioned and in my analysis is, we are going to pump or just to form an uptrend again on BTC, because we still have our resistance at 41k. Actually, that's a little bit of 41k, a little bit more up, maybe 41.2 as well. Nevertheless, that's part of Wyckoff's redistribution phase, and we can take a look to this one. That's actually what I have mentioned on my daily market analysis. Well, it wasn't really daily in the last time, but it will be. So of course it depends on which view we are showing that, right? So now it's shifting a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Now that's actually something like it's not really a short-term trend. It's much more a mid-term trend, if we could call that mid-term actually. But so many people are a little bit confused because we are coming from a bearish trend. We are coming from a downtrend, and the redistribution, and that's actually the redistribution is where the strong hands are starting to sell their assets to make the big gain. And then they start to let fall their asset price again until they reach the new bottom. That's the accumulation phase, and where they rebuy their asset again. That's a cycle. That's actually something I had, but I think I removed that. But if we are taking a look to that, what's happening actually, that's always the same. It depends on in which view you are seeing that, but actually that's going to be the same. If we go, yeah, that's 1 day. We can do the 2 days. I just forgot again how that works here. So let me check. Zack. And that's what I mentioned in my last stream. That's always the same thing. Okay? And that's what Wyckoff also say in his book, for example. That's a sinus curve. That's always a sinus curve. It depends. You have actually different bottoms and different peaks always when you has finished or has completed one sinus curve. But actually, it's always the same. That's the principle of every market. You need an overbought to get an oversold, and that's what we are doing. The thing is, you need, and that's actually where I see the most important thing on Wyckoff. It's not his pattern. It's much more to detect when you're getting, for example, a failing rally. That's what I mentioned in my last streaming. That was actually here when the US government, or actually Janet Yellen, just started to spread the rumor to support Biden's policy, concerning the tax regulations related to crypto and so on, and we started the dump there and liquidated almost 10 billion US dollar in long liquidations, mostly in the US, because all the all the bitcoins that they dropped to the market came from Coinbase, for example. So and that happened here again with all the discussions of energy wasting and so on and so forth. So a lot of coincidences. That's what I talked the last time when we have talking about what happened actually here in this phase. And now we are front of a new phase. And that's actually here. We are finishing the distribution phase. And many persons and traders actually are a little bit, they are missing, or they think they are missing something, because of course if you take a look, for example, to the accumulation schematic of Wyckoff, that would make more sense, right? You are coming from the bearish trend and it starts here to realize an accumulation phase, but that's not the way. And that's, you have to understand that this part here is the part where the strong hands, the whales, they are institutional investors, start to buy. They will sell here again. That's part of the deal. They are not buying. They are not buying to keep the asset now till they are here. They are buying to sell that here again. They are accumulating money with that. And the accumulation phase, the last one, if we take a look, for example, I will show you. I didn't prepare that actually because it's really difficult to use a chart that's actually, yeah, well, where I don't have any trends or something. I could make this, but some of you could get some wrong messages, as it happened when I published my whole. I published one, I don't know if you remember, but I published one chart where I actually tried to figure out what would happen after the distribution phase, that the redistribution will start and that we are going over to the accumulation. And the accumulation had a bottom of 15,000 or something. And then some people just sent me messages like, hey, Inspo, do you really think the new bottom will be 15,000? And that's the big thing where I just added one sentence that I have read of in the book of Wyckoff, that every pattern is absolutely different. You just need to know the keys of his schematic. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you are comparing, I mean, this one of this year looks very accurate. But if you take a look, a deeper look, of course you will have some differences, and that's absolutely okay. But as soon as you know that's the failing the failing rally, and that's the key factor, then you know, okay, we will dump afterwards, we will have a little dump again, okay, and then we will dump hard. And if you know that, you can buy, sell, and buy and sell, or even go over and use some future contracts, or actually as well options. Then you can make a lot of money. Hi, Sifu. And so that's my goal, to predict in which kind of phases we are when we are going over to the next one. I cannot predict every move of every day. That's not possible. We have a lot of different market actors right now in the market. The market is changing every month. Okay, so many noobs are just went out of the market. They have lose some money, and now we have the strong hands on one part and the experienced traders and those kind that was smart enough not to lose all the money with Doggy or with other. I mean, I'm saying Doggy, but you know what I mean. I'm not going to tell them shit coins, okay? I respect every progress and every technology. It's not a shit coin. It's not actually my taste, and I don't believe that these coins are going to change and initiate a revolution, economy revolution in the future. So I'm not going to call them shitcoins, but I will call them coins where I don't expect a big future. And that's partly Doggy. I mean, if Elon Musk wouldn't hype Doggy, I don't know where Doggy would be today. Right now they are on a 30-cent level each token, maybe less. But these assets are actually very risky because of they are attracting a lot of noobs because of the hyping effect behind. And that's why we need to identify the strong coins, because governments will, and be sure about that, will bring new laws and regulations in the future. And only the strong coins will survive that. That's why I have a problem with Bitcoin. I don't have a problem with Bitcoin because I don't like Bitcoin or I don't believe on what is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is awesome, but Bitcoin is generating a geopolitics problem, to say that in my words. So I think the problem, or actually the war, the fights behind Bitcoin are not over. We are not done, and more is going to come. I don't trust when someone is telling me whales are jumping in and buying thousands of Bitcoins. Because for them, that's a business. If they know next year the government is bringing some regulations that could let crash Bitcoin, for example. That's just an example. They will try to make the big cash in the last 15 minutes of Bitcoin's life. That's really just an example. That I'm not saying that Bitcoin will crash, okay? But so I don't trust when someone is telling me, yeah, but they are investing in Bitcoin right now. Well, yeah, that's nice for them. And I think asymmetric information is something that is for them a good thing, for you a big pain. They know much more information that you know. They have a better network than you have. So the only thing we can do is to minimize our risk and taking into account every information we can get. Also geopolitics. What is happening with Bitcoin, that's it's sad. It's really sad. Bitcoin is useful. Bitcoin initiated a crypto revolution, and every holder can be proud to have a Bitcoin in his portfolio. No doubts. But as I told you several times now, because of the supply amount of Bitcoin, that can be a big challenge in the future. And right now we are also, and that's another topic I will talk to you later on, where institutional money is now well hitting. That's not Ethereum and that's not Bitcoin. So it's very interesting because all what's happening behind, they that have an effect also to their decisions, we don't see. But we need to see that to adjust our strategies. That's something I mentioned today in my market analysis. Sometimes I cannot be so straight and explain you everything. It's not possible. Sometimes for me it's easier if I tell you that directly on streaming because I can explain much more what's going behind. Everything concerning energy wasting or everything that could be a problem for a green policy, that's a serious matter. And you will see this in the future. When I'm talking about the transition of our economy, that's a green economy. But I will tell about that much more in the future. I don't think that we need to talk about that today. But as said, we are just back to topic. We have in Bitcoin right now the situation that when it's necessary, they bring some bad news. As a coincidence, of course. And when they need, they bring good news. As a coincidence, of course. But these coincidences has an effect to the Bitcoin price. And what I said several times also in different streams, but also in my tweets, is for them it's easier to work with your money than with their own money. They just need few money to trigger something. Okay, so hyping generates more longs, while bringing some bad news that will generate more shorts. So if they, for example, it's clever because if they, for example, need something from you and that's like chess. They think two steps, yeah, more than you. And they know if I'm hyping and the persons have the expectation Bitcoin is going up, it will go up. But it's not going to initiate a rally. So what are they doing? They use your money you are placing these longs to let liquidate you later. And you are generating sell pressure because of your liquidation. It's very smart, but that's usual. Okay? Always bring the biggest impact with less energy or with less money. So and actually it's going to be more dynamic at the moment. I'm feeling we have every 2 or 3 days different news. It's flipping very, very, very fast. We have Elon Musk telling us that Bitcoin is a big risk because of the energy problem that Bitcoin has with the operation of Bitcoin itself. And just 2 weeks later, he say we have now a mining council and we are fixing the problems. Then you have a billionaire that's saying I'm going to invest 1 billion in Bitcoin. And 2 days later, when they need, because you know, okay, cool, they will really initiate now a rally. And you remember where I said just 3 days ago, okay, if that's the case, forget Wyckoff, because we are living the schematic. But it didn't happen. they initiated bad news, so the market was reacting again. Are they manipulating? No, you let you let you manipulate by them. That's the big difference. So when people are saying, well, these guys are manipulating, well, yeah, they are spreading shit, but you are eating that shit. So what's worse? Those they we in Germany we say, what's worst? Those guy they produce the weapons or the person that is using the weapons, you know? Yes, you are right. There's no disinterested news. I mean, every of these news are good for us because that's actually also a pattern. You have to detect all this information because for whales, for institutional investors, managing billions or millions of dollars and investing now in cryptocurrency, they are using every tool they have to reach their goal. And we, as I told several times in the past, we just need to detect this kind of tools and track them and, well, use their wave. And that's actually what we are doing. And that's actually where I say, uh, I mean, I was smiling just 1 hour, 2 hours again. I was just noticing that the trader and Twitter trader, a good known Twitter trader with a lot of followers, he was actually hyping Bitcoin all the time. That was mooning all the time. And even I was tweeting today that the next step should be to go up again and to retest the 41K before we dump. He is expecting that we are going to dump now. And that's actually what these guys, what whales and institutional investors want to generate. That's where they make money. And so that's the good part. If we are smart enough and to detect all this information and all this pattern and to know what's going to happen, in my opinion, the next thing that should happen in the next, I would say, few days, because actually at the moment I'm mostly using the one day chart view. Okay, that's showing me clearly what is our situation. And so it can happen that we um, fall back again to finish our 30, 35, 34, 7 before we go up again. But we will go up again. And uh, if you know that, of course you can play with that. You can buy here. Okay, those guys knew what's happening here, then started to buy. Okay, they started to buy, they started to sell again. And they are buying, and will sell again. And that's actually all the thing what they are doing. That's the whole key. That's the whole, well, that's the game rules. And if we know, okay, that's going to go up again, it's clearly that you can buy here your dips. I mean, it doesn't matter, it's riskless. Because if you buy your dips here, and even if we dump even much, I see that as an accumulation. Because I know exactly that we are going after the accumulation, we will initiate the biggest rally in crypto's history. God, someone is calling me, sorry. So for me, that's in my point of view, that's absolutely riskless, and that's why I say, it makes sense to start to buy here if we go up, to sell here again. You can do that. You don't need to do that. But as soon as I have the confirmation we are here, what I'm going to do for sure is to place short future. Because that's my finally the final confirmation that I need to know we are dumping hard afterwards. We are changing the level. That's looking like what I'm prepared here. I will do that 12 hours. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, so that was actually our distribution phase. Now we changed. We are in something like a transition from the distribution to the accumulation. The accumulation is here, and that's what I showed you here. That's the accumulation. Actually, it's very similar. Okay, you have just little differences, and that's the big problem of Wyckoff's schematic, and he mentioned that in his book as well. You know, to know how it works. It doesn't matter how the chart looks like. As soon as you detect some points, for example, when you have this cell climax, okay, you see here you have a short distance between both, well, the initiation of the dump and the final or the bottom of this dump. It's going to be longer, and the last one is the longest one. That's also very interesting because that's something that's happening right now. So when we detect, for example, that's very dynamic, that means to us we are in the beginning of something. When you see that's the last one, the longest one, that's something saying you something is changing. Okay, you can see that here always. And that's actually something that's happening. So you have to see all these patterns. I will tell that patterns. And our goal and our mission is to detect exactly this cell climax. When people are starting to let them guide by fear and they are starting to sell all their assets. It doesn't matter if that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Coti, Cardano, Stellar Network, and a lot of other beautiful projects out there. They will drop their assets. Strong hands start to buy here. They buy here, they buy here, and they buy here. And the last one is the most important one. That's before we start a new rally. That's where the people say, ah, come on, that's going to be a suck rally. Okay? Nobody is convinced anymore that we are initiating a rally, but they will. And that's where we have to start to buy a lot. We have to buy a lot. So just imagine right now XRP is below $1. We are at 90 cents right now. If we are done in the accumulation phase, XRP is maybe 70 cents or 60 cents. But believe me, at the end of the year, XRP will be as minimum $3, $5. The same Coti. At the moment we have 20 cents. Now if we take, for example, I show you the chart that makes that easier. We go here, or I start a new one. What? Yeah. So if we take a look to Coti. Oh yeah, okay, that that didn't work. 12 hours, we can make 1 hour maybe. Yeah, That's perfect. So if you take a look here, for example, Coty was at 12 cents per token. I think when we are downwards again and we are going to hit the new bottom, we will be here or maybe less. 10 cents, 9 cents. So just imagine how much money we can do with that. And that's actually our goal. That shouldn't be an expectation because everything can happen. But it's something we have to do. Oh God, okay, Sifu, I don't know. I can I try to open what you sent me just to see what you sent me. Oh yeah, well, exactly. That's from this year. But no. What is that? That's looking 120. Okay, I don't know which asset it is, but that looks awesome because it looks really like the Bitcoin chart. So, okay, let us go further. So that's our goal, and that's something we have to be ready for it. I did just to mention that something that I not really was expecting that, but also my DeFi coins they dumped exactly the phase E. That's actually, but the phase E, in my opinion, ends here. It ended here. That was the end of phase E, and we started the phase A of a redistribution. That's where Bitcoin is starting to run sideways. Okay, if we take a look here, we see we are we stopped the dump. Strong hands started to buy here, and they are buying and selling. They know exactly. Look, these candles. That's a huge amount of money behind. If you have such kind of candles, something is going on. So, and when the thing, and that's another challenge that we have now, is like Wyckoff said, in a redistribution, you have a reaccumulation as well. We had a reaccumulation here. That was the reaccumulation of Bitcoin. That was January, before we started the distribution. Or let me see now. That's it. Yeah, that should be it. And it looks strange because it's on the same level. I thought we are moving maybe somewhere at 43, but they dump it where they need it. It's it's not a coincidence. That's a plan. And we need to see the same but reverse, okay? So imagine that's the dump. We are now in the redistribution and will dump even more later on. So if someone is asking me for the new Bitcoin bottom, I don't know, 20 possible. I think more 25, 25, 24. It depends how many of this redistribution phases we will have. I don't think that we will spend a lot of time with it. I tell you why. First of all, in June, as you know, we will have the usual June future liquidation, future and option liquidations. So we will dump even more. What a coincidence. Maybe related or just with another multiply effect with the bad news. Something about regulation, taxes, or whatever. Okay? But we also know from June on, German institutional investors can cover 20% of their funds with cryptocurrency assets. That's a $400 billion budget. It's not bad. It's not that huge, but it's not bad. I don't know if you remember, I told you end of 2021 will be key for the crypto. I'm not getting any information from governments or so on. Like I didn't know about the 6 trillion plan of the US government, for example. But I knew that something is going to happen end of the year because of the situation that we have created in the last 2 years with COVID-19, for example. And so it was absolutely clear for me that that's the best situation. A transition of the economy as we had in the history will happen again. No doubt it's going to happen again. We have created a situation where we have green policy in the agenda. And it doesn't matter anymore if it's the Democrats, the Republicans, or in Germany, the right party or the left party, all have green politics on the agenda. So every person that thinks green politics it's not going to lead the economy in the future, in my opinion, it's an ignorant. That's going to happen much more than you guys maybe think. And so it's IT and mostly all these projects related to crypto, it's going to be very interesting for the transition of the economy. $6 trillion, 8 trillion till 2031, I think I have read. That's huge, but the European Union will also bring some similar money on the table because they have similar problems like the US have with their economy right now. And they want, and they say they want a transition, a change of the business and industry model. So all this money partly is going to land in the crypto market. It will generate inflation. Yes, of course. All those people with a lot of money will use the crypto market as a safe port to be safe of the big inflation. So mainly all these people that are not acting in the crypto market will have a very difficult time in the future. And we can be happy that we are right now in the crypto market because, and that's what I said several times also in the past, we are pioneers. We are not these guys that started to buy Bitcoin at $50. Of course not. But it doesn't matter. This crypto market, it's very young. And the mass, I mean, even a lot of Americans know what is crypto. I can tell you that a lot of Europeans don't care about crypto. The Asian market is much more crypto active than the European, for example. But all this is coming. Nobody know that last week, the Central Bank of France with the, let me see, La Société Générale, I think, they tested the first transaction with the first European euro, Société Générale, exactly. So for many of you, maybe that's a nonsense, news, because you will say, well, that's not the same like Bitcoin. It's not, you know, it doesn't have all these advantages for the holders, for the society. Yes, absolutely. But it's bringing the mass adoption in the mind of the mass. All these people, they don't want to be related to the crypto market, will be in 3 years and in 4 years. Because you will not have any cash anymore. Even gold, forget gold. Yes, they are right. Bitcoin is going to become the new digital gold. Forget gold. All these people like Peter, what they think, that we are starting a green policy with a green policy agenda, but we will keep mining gold? Really? I don't think so. So all this is part of something that is coming in the future. And what we are seeing at Bitcoin is maybe the last opportunity in the whole crypto market to buy all these deeps as we know right now with these prices. I don't think that in the next year you can have a COTI for 20 cents or less. Or XRP. Nobody is talking about Ripple. Just few days ago, yeah, that's just few days ago, they started the RippleNet in Vietnam and some parts in Asia, and that's working. I'm not wondering when, for example, in Japan, the governor of the central bank right there is making a bad news related to Bitcoin, because I know that Japan just placed all their bets for Ripple. That's something you have to know. So that's because I said several times, well, I don't care about Bitcoin. If Bitcoin will dump to $15,000, yeah, I think I will buy some, just to have them and just to support it. But even if it makes $80,000 per token afterwards, that's it. It's not going to be a million token value asset. Okay? Ripple and many other strong projects, it's not going to be 1 million, but maybe 5,000. Maybe not Ripple, but COTI or something else. Okay? And that's where I say that's the big part of us, of our to-dos, is to detect strong projects behind and buy these deeps, a lot of them, as much as you can. I will do that. I mean, that's not an advice, you know that. That's pure entertainment what I'm doing here, but that's it. And that's our mission. Because if we are doing that now, you will see in 3, 4, 5 years, you are not going to buy one new house. You will have and own several houses if you want. Because that's a phase that people had 80 years ago, 70 years ago in the stock market. And that's the new generation stock market. Something like, it's absolutely not the same. It's difficult to compare both. It's clear for me. I'm just saying to compare the situations together. So just to have in mind, when we see this chart and we know what's going to happen next, It's going to be a downtrend. We don't be scared when we hear we are hitting a bear market. A bear market's the best that can happen for us to buy dips. It takes 3 months. I don't care if it takes 3 months. It will make afterwards the biggest rally that we have ever seen in the crypto market. Yeah, Bitcoin will do 100K. I don't care. Every other strong projects will make huge gain. Every one of them. Also DeFi projects will make big gain. Banks, as we know, banks will change totally to that understanding that we have about banks and their business. They are going to be IT companies, administrators. They are not going to be more the guys that are sending money from A to B as a big business model. Forget that. DeFi is the future. And XRP is going to offer DeFi as well with the project Flare, for example. A very interesting information that I got just a few hours ago is that the most institutional money right now is going to Cardano, not to Ethereum and not to Bitcoin. And I know why. Because Cardano and Coty are cooperating together and are close to implement the systems together. That's a huge thing that will be huge for Coty, but also huge for Cardano if you think on which level Coty will play afterwards. So a lot of information that we can get outside and a lot of information we need to have in mind every time when we are in the market and we want to optimize our portfolio. So let us see, for example, what's happening in the market cap at Bitcoin and, for example, at altcoins. That was the best phase of altcoins. We were just making. We had here our all-time high with $1.4 trillion at altcoins, and Bitcoin had, I think here it was actually here the all-time high 1.1. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And well, yeah, since then, as you can see, and that's the big problem, many people just say, yeah, many whales are shifting their money from altcoins to Bitcoin. I don't know if that happened. I didn't find any information that showing me or proving me that that happened. The only thing I think what happened at altcoins is Bitcoin has a big price. So for people, it's very difficult to just say I'm going to buy 500 Satoshi. They want a Bitcoin. They don't want just some Satoshi. And so they started to buy the cheap coins. So I told them or call them the coins with less future perspective, and they let drop the market cap at altcoins a lot. All these guys they are so scared now. That was the first cycle, and I mean, Elon Musk, my idol, just told me I should buy something. I did, and it just sucked 70% of my money, so fuck them. That's a thing I knew that could happen sometime, but I didn't expect it could happen that fast, that quick, as it unfortunately happened. And it will be a challenge to recover that. My big hope is the money that's going to come in. Hi, Jorge. To come in the next month. So I wouldn't be scared about the bear market, because that it's going to be the last opportunity that we have to buy the dips before we start the new big rally. And when I say the big rally, Bitcoin will get market cap, no doubt. But 60-70% of the market cap, or the new money joining the crypto market, will be here. And I was reading, I don't remember now, I was reading from a guy that was telling that till 2023 or 2022 the market cap, the crypto market cap, will be 5 trillion. And if so, I'm not expecting 3 trillion here. And if so, I would expect a lot of money here. And that's another sign for me that if we are hitting this bear market, the market and all these investors triggering all the dumps are making a favor to us. We just need to recognize that, we need to adjust our strategy, and we need to work with this information. More information will come in, more projects will come in. We know that the US is working on a US dollar digital based currency as well, and I think Libra, or the Facebook currency coin, DM. I think DM is they renamed it in DM, if I'm right, and they moved out from the US to Switzerland. They are removing back to the US now. You should think about why they are doing that, because the US government is trying to support now US American projects like Ripple. I'm not part of the Ripple army. I'm not part of any army. But as a banker, I know exactly what Ripple is doing, and I know that Ripple, for example, if I'm comparing the old Swift system with the new one, DM. Okay, Dave, thank you. That's going to be a huge thing. But we have a lot, RSR, for example, a lot of different projects, very strong projects. All these projects will make huge development in the next years. And we know to think like a whale. Don't think from day to day. If you are a day trader, crypto as a day trader could be nice, could be hell at the same time. So I'm in absolutely investor mode. As I was bullish to hell, then I was a day trader, because I didn't care about. I knew it doesn't matter if I'm buying the coin right now here, it's going to go up. So, but right now I'm more in the investor mode. I see what's going to happen end of the year, or from September. I'm not talking about December. Okay, that happens last year actually, and that's going to happen again. We will make, but this time, a rally 2020 and 2021 was nothing compared to what we are going to see in 2022 and 2023 and beyond. So if you miss to buy Ethereum for a few bucks or Bitcoin, look forward, because you are still in the position to make the big gain. You just need, and that's the big problem right now, we have almost 6,000 different projects in the market. And every day are coming a lot of more coin projects as well. So as we are now detecting in what kind of cycle we are right now, it's much more important now to detect the right coins where we have to buy the dips. A lot of money. They are going to shift all that money from usual cause of inflation, because of taxes, because of the attractivity that will bring the crypto market to a lot of whales and people in different institutional companies, also banks. That's going to come, no doubts. So end of the year, when Biden told about the 6 trillion from 2022, all these rich people and all the people they want to save their money against the inflation, they are not waiting till the inflation is there, right? They are shifting their money before that happens, and that's going to be end of the year. So to your question, what are the reasons for the ready end of the year? That's part of it. First of all, the second thing, regulations. Regulations where a lot of different continents, like Europe, for example, started to make, as usual, a lot of different regulations to make everything much complicated related to crypto market. But I don't know where the money is coming in, but we have a big lobby for the crypto market working very well in the European Union right now, and I think that end of the year, also related to a digital euro, and I know that the digital euro is going to be a big challenge for the European Union to launch this coin without having big problems with their own people. So to bring less regulations related to crypto, to give the persons, the people, the possibility to have a full ecosystem with a European digital currency at the same time, it's going to be the and to solve their problems. And all this is going to happen end of this year, because next year, I would say in the first quarter of 2022, will be a key for all of us related to the transition of the economy. Also maybe end of the year, but I guess it's much more in the first quarter of 2022, where something will happen that will trigger a very big transition of the economy. And this transition of the economy needs a lot of money to make it possible. And this money is going to come, like Biden is announcing now. The European Union will announce that, and maybe some Asian governments as well, that they are spending a lot of money to make this transition of the economy happen as soon as possible. Unified protocol. I really don't know every project. Unify. Um, Let me check a moment because I read so much stuff and sometimes. You mean the DAO one, the Unify protocol? Cyrus. Okay, I don't find that, but Unify I find I'm on CoinMarketCap right now. I find different Unify protocol DAO, Unify DeFi. That would be maybe the one, right? But that's I don't know. Just confirm me that if that's actually the con name. But about coins, for example, I mean, you guys know I mentioned now Ripple a lot of times, um, Coti as well, as the Coti and Cardano are advancing in the crypto e-commerce area. I told you about SBI Ripple Asia, where they started this transaction system in Vietnam and Cambodia, for example. So I'm taking a look. If I'm missing something, I should tell you. Well, about DM, for example, I told you about as well, because they are um, going to add the CBDC. So that's going to be the new US digital central bank currency. Let me check if I'm missing something. Well, I told you about Cardano as well, but that's actually it. Yeah. Let me check. No, but that's it. So, well, as mentioned here, that's going to be really huge if we take a look to that. And that's actually just the beginning of a beautiful future for all of us. Take a look to that. I mean, that's hard. That's really hard. But it doesn't matter. We had that several times, of course, in a different scale, but that's going to go up again, like here. Okay, it will take a little bit. It's not going to make exactly the same. I was actually tracking some comments on Twitter from Twitter or yeah traders that started to compare some phases of 2017 and so on and so forth. Yes, of course. I mean, it's always the same. It's just you and I did the same in the past. You cannot compare one situation with the other because it changed. The market is changing. It's dynamic. It's not something it's not going to be always the same. That's that's a good thing. It's not boring. So, damn. Okay. Um, yeah. So, the DAO. Okay. Well, actually, Abul, everything related to DAO is a good thing, I think. They are making a great progress. And so, in my opinion, not I don't have any DAO coin in my portfolio yet, but it's on my list. So like VeChain, it's also a very strong coin. And that's what I say. This kind of coins have a future, even if they are not going to be big part and the key figures in the mass adoption, but they will have their position in a transition of our economy. And that's where I say they are part of the strong assets that you have to own and you have to have in your portfolio. Like, for example, I was reading that Binance is going to reduce the supply of BNB and to, I don't know if I have this in mind now, 100 million, because their strategy now is to make something like well, I would say something like a competition to Bitcoin. I mean, I'm happy with that because I own a lot of BNB just because of my DeFi operations. But they started with 200 million token and they reduced them already by 30 million, and they want to reduce them to 100 million in the next time, or they did already. But I see this article is from yesterday, so that should happen. I'm taking a look if I can see when it's going to happen. No, I don't see that. But taking in account the role that BNB is taking is having in DeFi, no doubt that BNB could be the next Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum, the big strong position of Ethereum is the blockchain, and how many projects are based on the Ethereum blockchain. But after them, if Binance fix all their tech problems and issues that they have, because every time when BTC is dumping, you cannot send any transactions via the Binance Smart Chain because it's not available anymore. That's pain all the time because as an investor, that's a risk for me. They need to fix that as soon as possible. And but if they are reducing BNB to 100 million tokens with the role that they play based on DeFi, that's going to be huge. I mean, next year, $4,000, $5,000, I can imagine that, maybe more. We will see. But that's something where I say I feel very comfortable just to get the BNBs. If you take a look to the BNBs right now, they are bleeding and you can buy them very, very cheap. But I'm not talking about buy, and I'm not going to shill any coins. I'm just telling you what's happening right now. And I think I'm missing a lot of beautiful coins out there, and we need to detect this together. Just to send me some coins, I can make an analysis, also maybe some price predictions, and as you know, I'm doing sometimes asset analysis, so I'm taking a deeper look to the coins. What are they doing? Are they strong enough to survive such a transition of the economy as we are going to have in the next years? And yeah, so that would be, I think, the best thing. Mm. And last but not least, concerning to Bitcoin, as we can see, that the Bitcoin dominance was dumping as well, and the altcoins did very good work till then, and they break it here. It's funny because it's actually breaking where we have now our redistribution phase. It's a good sign for us because, of course, they are buying and selling, as I told you. So here it's showing clearly what's happening in the market right now. That's not just a price, that's just making a ratio of capital. That's very interesting what's happening here. So we mainly all or a lot of people jumped out from the altcoins to the bitcoins, or actually they just left the altcoin or crypto market in general. But you see that bitcoin holders are strong holders and they maintain the calm, they are not selling and even attracting more people to buy, and that's what happened here. But somebody started to sell again. I think we know um, what guys are selling there. So yeah, I would say if you have some questions, I don't think I'm missing something of what I prepared just half hours before we started with our stream. Taking a look here because I have a lot of tabs open with different informations. That's, yeah, covering my whole day. Well, something also very interesting I want to show you. That was the Bitcoin net unrealized profit loss, NUPL. And if we take a look here, I showed you that just a few days ago. And that's actually what's happening all the time. If you take a look here, 2017, for example, everybody is talking about 2017, but nobody is talking that to make this happen, all the ways started to reaccumulate and to accumulate all these bitcoins the month and years before. Okay, so for example here that was 2016, that was the beginning of 2016. They started here, they had here the accumulation, then reaccumulated here, and then they started the distribution actually here. 2017 they had here their peak, that was the failing rally, and then they started to dump again to sell all their assets here. And yeah, accumulation here, reaccumulation here. It's always the same pattern, but of course it's looking absolutely different to the last years. If you take a look here, for example, that was March 2020. It looks absolutely different to 2018, 2019, and the same here, 2015. Yeah, was the big crash, like here, for example. So that was also very interesting for me just to see how the market is reacting. And if we take a look, for example, right now, it's exactly as expected. It is possible and can happen that we go up again, as I told you, and but just for few days, and it will go down again. And I don't think, because I told you that the market just changed a lot. based on their market actors, we are not going to spend anymore 1 year in the accumulation phase. We are talking about weeks or months before we start the big new rally. I'm convinced of that. Yeah, something else, guys. If you have any question. I mean, I don't know, in the past, some of you asked me about the indicators. I mean, for my analysis, I'm using this kind of indicators. Well, anomalies. I can tell. Well, no, I would say no. Um, what happened at 2020? Well, I mean, we have here 2018, the 2020 crash. I think there was a little cycle. If we take a look here, that was August 2019 when we had our failed rally and they started to dump. So what happened here? That's a good question, but as the timeline for the distribution was so short, I think I don't know why they stopped it here. Really, it doesn't make big sense to me because they didn't in the past. Well, I mean, here it takes a little bit more time. That's possible, but I wouldn't say that that was a big anomaly. So when I hear about the pandemic crash of crypto, I ask me why? Why a pandemic crash of crypto? It doesn't make any sense for me. Um, Nobody thought that the whole economy is going to crash. I mean, I didn't. Maybe a lot of other people did, but if you take a look to the different cycles, for example, here that's a perfect example, but also here, and this one looks even more the cycle in 2010, right? So I wouldn't say that it was an anomaly, otherwise it wouldn't make any sense. They started accumulation, they had the distribution, a short one. Actually, that's the only thing that's wondering me, why they had such a short distribution phase. I don't know actually why that happened. You remember what happened in August 2019? I don't. But everything else looks very usual for me, very normal. Nothing where I would say, okay, that's looking ugly. And many guys are started to analyze this chart, and they have noticed that we have here, for example, a resistance. We have here our support, and they say, well, I mean, we are not done with our bullish cycle, because if you take a look to the different cycles here, you can see that we reached the resistance many times, and it bounced there and went up again, and that was here 2 times, that was here 3 times, that was or 4 times, here 5 times. Well, they didn't analyze this part. And they said, yeah, and we didn't have anyone here, so we should have as minimum 4 another, so the bullish cycle is not done. And that's something where I say you cannot compare every different cycle together. It's not possible. That's absolutely not possible. If you're taking a look to this cycle, it's looking much more similar to this one, while this one is looking more similar to this one. But all of them are absolutely different. Yeah, I don't see a COVID crash, actually. I think that was a usual cycle thing, a market cycle thing. Of course, and that's something, Dave, you need to have in mind is they use different information to get the price that they need, and the price moves that they need. Coincidences. I don't like coincidences because, in my opinion, coincidences doesn't exist. Behind any coincidence, someone has a plan. So I take always the same examples of this year because that happens just a few weeks ago when we can take a look here again what happened when Mrs. Janet Yellen just spread the rumor. That was huge. That was actually huge. Just in one day, what happened there, that was incredible. Also, just coincidences. Coincidence is the excuse to be transparent, in my opinion. So that was the consequence of a rumor. We had almost 900 million short liquidations, while we had at the same time in 24 hours long liquidations in worth of almost $9.26 billion in 24 hours. I mean, Elon Musk just did $7.5 billion. That's not that big, right? So, but the funny thing is, all the people just take a baseball club and trying to kick Alan from crypto market with that, but nobody was telling anything about Janet Yellen and her rumor about what in consequence just liquidated almost $10 billion of your money, actually. That's, well, I don't know if it's funny or sad. I think a mix of both, but yeah, that's part of the game. So be calm. Don't let you guide by fear. It doesn't matter if tomorrow someone is saying, I don't know, we are thinking. You have to read between the lines. That's you need really to read between the lines. When people started to talk about Joe Biden's plan to bring some taxes and regulations to crypto market, and everyone was screaming, fuck, I have to sell my assets, that's going to be pain in the ass. Yeah, but just read between the lines. What does it mean that? That means we are closely to be part or finishing the mass adoption. Nobody could expect that the governments are going to miss all this billions or millions in taxes. That's stupid to think that the governments are going to miss that. So when the governments are starting to bring some laws and some rules to clarify the whole environment of crypto, yeah, it's going to be pain for us because we have to share our money with them. Okay, yes, of course. But on the other side, that means for us that the big mass is coming. So if I have to give them 30% or 40%, by the way, in Germany that's not going to happen. We just need to hold 1 year, then it's tax free. I hope that keeps in that way. But if I need to give them 30%, but my assets make me a gain of 10 times, 20 times, should I care about? Really? No, I shouldn't. And that's the way how you need to think. But the first impression was, oh fuck, they are going to slave us. And that was funny for me because you need to read between the lines. You need to detect the positiveness of every new, and a lot of these news are there. When, for example, was it JP Morgan CEO that told, let me see, I just tweeted today, bup, 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 bup. Let me check. JP Morgan CEO says stay away from Bitcoin. And people start to say, huh, and now Bitcoin is dumping. And I think, why? Why is Bitcoin dumping? It doesn't make sense. Look what he is saying. Wait, my own personal advice to people is stay away from it. That does not mean that clients don't want it. Read between the lines. He is saying it. He is getting pressure from his own customers to get in the crypto market. That's saying anything. That's actually a very good news. Okay, Bitcoin should pump after that and not dump after that. But they are not dumping. The people are dumping. And that's why I try to explain you guys every time when something is happening and when I see that they are creating some expectations, because when they say some really stupid things like, I don't know, just a company is accepting Bitcoin. Wow, everything is pumping. Bitcoin 200k, Bitcoin 500k, Bitcoin is the future. And I think, oh, but that's just a company. That's, that it's worthless. It doesn't say anything. But when JP Morgan CEO is telling you, my clients want Bitcoin, you are dumping it. That doesn't make sense for me. That's the best news you can have. Like Biden's taxes announcement. That's yeah, I know it sounds like pain, but it isn't. It is like it is. Just start to think like a whale. Start to think like an investor. Don't think like a noob. Don't suck what they give you. Just rethink what they are giving you. JP Morgan is debating whether it should make Bitcoin available in some safe way, said Diamond. Yeah, let it debating. It doesn't matter, but it's for me it's just stupid that people are hyping some news like Apple is looking for a manager specialized in cryptocurrencies, or it wasn't actually cryptocurrencies. It was something like they are looking for a manager for alternative payment methods. Okay, yes, alternative payment methods, of course, part of it. It's also cryptocurrency. But everyone was saying, yeah, mass adoption, Bitcoin is coming. And I said, that's stupid. That's Elon Musk level. That doesn't make sense. For me, it doesn't make sense. Do you think they are going to use and to introduce Bitcoin to let you pay your apps with Bitcoin? Really? You think that? Hopefully not. It's not going to happen. They will use maybe Bitcoin, but I'm sure they have different alternatives, actually stable coins, they would use, and that's stablecoins, Diem, former Libra, okay? This kind of projects are going to be the big alternative to other payment methods, not Bitcoin. Absolutely not. I like Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin would be perfect for the society, but it's not going to happen. Okay? So it's better if we all start to think that Bitcoin is going to be the digital gold. They told us every time Bitcoin is going to become the digital gold. They have a plan. So BTC is dumping right now. Yeah, that's possible. That's absolutely possible. Let us check what's happening. What are you doing? Well, no, it's not. It's oh no, that's Cotty. Okay. I thought. Okay, let us see what's happening here. Well, no, it's not dumping. It's not that's not dumping. It's falling. That's okay. I mean that's the thing, and that's also a very curious thing. We have a confirmed uptrend, but it's dropping right now. Any one of you have an explanation for that? I guess I have one. Let us see if that works. Market analysis. Let me check. Because today, May 28th, yeah, we had some future liquidations due they expired. Yeah, open interest positive, 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 almost positive. So if you have a trigger and they start to form a downtrend like it did mm, here, it seems, and you can see that was actually not their plan. It went up and they started to sell and they triggered something. That's going, when I see such candles, you see the resistance, the big selling pressure that they are created. And that's when I say that's going to be then a big challenge when they really want to let dump Bitcoin. They could let it dump very hard, but it's going to make. What do you mean still crap, Dave? About what JP Morgan said about debating? I mean, that's, let me see, but isn't that the same way that they hyped yesterday? Let me see. Oh yeah, PayPal. Yeah, I remember. That was PayPal. That was actually also a funny news. PayPal to add support for third-party Bitcoin wallet transfers. We want to make it as open as possible. Define possible, please. If any one of you can define what they have or what they understand behind possible, we understand is more utility to those tokens if you can move them around. So we are definitely exploring, like debating. that's that's okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, that means to me you want to be in the news, but you don't have any news for me. Hyping. And the Bitcoin maximalists are taking this news and making hypes from them. Hypes creates expectations, generates long futures. And that's a chain. That's really a chain. If we all will take this news and ignore them, you can trust me, nobody will start to to pay these guys to bring this kind of news in internet? No one. Well, so do you have any questions or anything more you want to ask? If not, I would say it's going to be the end of this session. I will prepare the next session. Is going to be next Sunday for sure. I will spend tomorrow some time in preparing some stuff and research, and of course I want to see what's going to happen um, till Sunday. And if you wish some topic that I should bring on the agenda to talk about, we can do that. Yes, Dave. I have oh, sorry. We have another. How do you know when somebody buy BTC it is long? What do you mean? How I know when somebody buy BTC it is long? What exactly are longs? Well, longs is related. Actually, we are talking about futures. Is when your expectations is that Bitcoin is going to pump or to go up, so that you can sell your Bitcoin. That actually you are, how I can explain that, you are buying, you have something like you buy BTC low and you are betting to sell BTC on an upper price. That's the opposite of shorts. Okay, so your expectation is that your BTC asset is going to go up and you have the opportunity to sell with a gain. That's the long. If you are going to be liquidated, okay, it's generating a sell operation. You have to sell your Bitcoin, losing your money, because your expectation didn't happen. So Bitcoin didn't go up, it didn't, the opposite, going down. So your margin, now that's something I have to show you. I talked in different times. I want to make a session where I show you more what is a future contract, how does it work, and so on and so forth, to understand what is the margin behind that. Because as soon as your margin is done, yeah, it's based on future. Well, yes, exactly. It's much more like a bet. That's like an option, but the name tell that it's just an option. While the future is generating an operation anyway. That's not the case with an option. So we have different products in the market related to the crypto market. That's something I don't like actually, because that makes everything much difficult. And you can use different instruments for your own goals. And that's what is happening. Um, and actually, about BTC longs, you don't know how or if someone is placing a long future. You can see the ratio between shorts and longs, and you can see the open interest. Okay, that's the same way where you can see the ratio or better the dynamic of the future market in that case. Your thoughts on USDT? Well, I have thoughts on USDT because they are not showing the transparency that is necessary. And actually, the last report where they just showed they generated more questions than they answered some questions that we had before about if the assets behind USDT are riskless and enough to maintain the value of USDT. And in my opinion, USDT is much more a risk for the crypto market right now than I hope that USDT can be a stable coin used for the mass adoption. That's the thing. I think the stability of USDT is on big risk because of the mismanagement. I think that's my opinion of the mismanagement behind. Exactly. They baked almost I think 30% in an asset that nobody knows how big the risks are. If nobody knows actually what is the rate of their assets. So even if you have 60% baked on safe assets, you have a risk of 40%, and that could let collapse USDT anytime. So for me, that's a big risk where every day I'm hoping that the bubble is not exploding, because that could be one thing where I say that could be a challenge for the crypto market, because USDT is making a big market share. Um, a crypto guy in Trinidad, just to show you, for example, here, to explain it better and what happened is, you have here in the bottom, you have the price of Bitcoin, and you have here the liquidation rate or ratio. So you can imagine, and that's what I said, they hyped Bitcoin and they started to go up, and many people started to say that's the new rally. And they started to liquidate all shorts. So that shorts, that means I'm buying here and expecting, okay, that Bitcoin is keeping dumping. So I can sell, I can buy my Bitcoin for a lower price to make a gain. That's the future sense behind for a short contract. For a future contract, that means I'm here, okay, and I'm going to buy my Bitcoin here. I want to sell my Bitcoin here, for example. So that works. Okay, you can see that works. Okay, we had here some problems because the volatility, but it works till here. And no, I did, yeah. And then it crashed again. So when it crashed, all these people just started to see, oh fuck, I'm going to lose money. I mean, if you bought that here, it doesn't make a big problem. It's not a big problem for you because you are making a gain. But if you bought that here, and that's mainly the case, because that's where the people are starting to think that's going to be the next rally. They are buying here the Bitcoin, and they see, okay, that's going to dump and dump and dump. Oh shit, okay. So they lose their margin and they get liquidated, and that's then creating a sell operation at Bitcoin and a sell pressure of $500 million just in 24 hours. That's a lot. We can see here we had that's actually the best thing you can have. if it's balanced, if you have 250 million shorts and 250 billion longs. That's the best case. Okay, so you can say almost you didn't have a big impact by future liquidations and the market price. Otherwise, its shorts are much more generating a buy pressure, while longs are generating a sell pressure. And that's the big pain that you have when you have futures in the market and your asset price is dumping because an institutional customer just want to liquidate his assets, and he trigger the liquidations like a chain, and that's then what's happening. Well, the market is done by bots. I mean, that's several days ago when Tether just tweeted an operation that they did 1 billion USDT for nothing. For really nothing. It wasn't baked with nothing. And yes, we need to be concerned about that. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say the market is done by bot. I mean, I can actually, sometimes I'm thinking how accurate all coins are following Bitcoin. If I have here 3 big screens showing me a lot of different coins, and sometimes I'm wondering and say, wow, that's like a second, a second later. So sometimes I didn't. If you are comparing this to the stock market, sometimes you have that, of course, but because they are using some bots as well, but not that accurate like in the crypto market. Sometimes I'm really wondering how quick they are reacting. Actually, we have some bots. Well, I have noticed that some providers are providing bots for the crypto market. So, but I'm not sure if the mass or a lot of people are using this kind of bots. I'm not sure. Bitcoin is doing Bitcoin things. So, any questions? Red Viper, that's several weeks ago. I don't know if they are good, but I know if you have a lot of trailing SL bots out there. Um, so maybe just to try them with some bugs, just to see if they are working very well. I tried one uh, where you had different parameters that you can set. Um, I thought that could be very useful, but I'm not using any SL bots. Yeah, that's the thing, Sifu. That's something very strange, but I think they are actually some people using bots, but I'm wondering if they're that big that, yeah, are using just the bots to manage all this. I don't know. I don't I didn't find anything about that. Yeah, Red Viper, I really don't know. It's really some weeks ago where I just checked that. Let me see trading. Trading take profit example. Trading take profit box. But I don't remember which one that was. Are you following me on Twitter, Red Viper? Because if so, drop me a line and I will take a look. Would send you. It was looking very promising actually. What in the demo? I wasn't paying anything. They had the demo version. Um, drop me a line. Let me see. I have to change my settings. Just give me a second. Direct messages. Yeah, just drop me a line and I think I have the link somewhere. I will send you that. Well, and Bitcoin, as I said, we should, I mean, 34.6 should be our support and then it should bounce up again. That's where this circle is, right? Yeah. Okay, guys. If nobody has a question, I would say I'm going to close this session. Sunday, I will be here again, and I have updated my schedule, and I will offer one session in my native language, in German, once in a week, because I want to push some Germans to spend some money in crypto as well. For many of Europeans, it's still a big secret, so I am going to provide that. And at the same time, I will provide more sessions from now on. Not daily, of course. I don't have the time to make this daily, but 3 times in a week to talk about the current situation in the market. And hopefully I will detect much more coins where I can tell you about the coins, tell you about the transition of the economy, tell you more about the mass adoption and our trouble, our common trouble in the crypto market that's going to reach to our early retirement, I guess. So thank you very much for watching my stream, guys. Really, I appreciate that a lot. And also, thank you very much for all of you that um, actually sent me a lot of feedbacks today on Twitter, because I was really struggling if my work is really yeah, positive enough for you, because I'm somebody that's always looking for the realistic view of something. And that could be sometimes a little bit tough and hard, um, mainly for people that have less experience and could be maybe interpret as much more than spreading scare and fear instead of supporting. But yeah, I appreciate that a lot. You sent me a lot of feedback, and it's clear now for me that we should go further and keep observing the market, have a plan, stick to the plan, and we will make good gains in the future. So thank you very much for watching, and see you Sunday. We will see what Bitcoin is going to do. I'm wondering why here it's still showing me a confirmed uptrend. It doesn't make any sense, but I can tell you that, and that's going to happen. That's happening always. Close before we are oversold, they flip again. So I would expect that they want to pump afterwards. That's really incredible. Absolutely. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening, morning. I don't know where you are located, but thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Stay safe, and well, don't let you guide by fear. Bye bye.